I really don't know why anybody actually watches The View and Sunny Hostin. I have no clue. Because they are a bunch of leftists there on that show. And the only quote unquote conservative that they actually do have on the show is a weak one. Because when they were selecting a conservative for that show, they wanted the weakest possible conservative that would not push back against their leftist rhetoric. And they have succeeded in that. But Sunny Hostin now, because she's going to be the main topic here of this video, she is weighing in on the Israel and Hamas war. And boy, she said something that just made absolutely no sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. We all know that Hamas is a terrorist organization. They attack civilians. That's pretty clear. That's how this whole thing pretty much started last Friday, with an attack on civilians. And now Sunny Hostin is weighing in and comparing Hamas to the Proud Boys. Now, the Proud Boys, in case you guys don't know, these guys are really just a response to Antifa. When Antifa shows up and wants to bully people around, destroy stuff, just like Black Lives Matter, the Proud Boys are usually there to confront them. That is pretty much the only thing that the Proud Boys ever really do. Okay? Now, when it came to 2020, all of the rioting and looting out there, beating people up, that came from BLM, Black Lives Matter, and it came from Antifa. You didn't hear any stories whatsoever about the Proud Boys going out there and beating up civilians. You never, ever heard that because it didn't happen. But for some reason, the mainstream media, they want to demonize the Proud Boys all the time. This is what they want to do. But Antifa, BLM, the mainstream media, they're going to be silent on the crimes of BLM and Antifa. I mean, Antifa was down there in Atlanta, and they were actually terrorizing, quote unquote, Cop City. They were burning it. BLM was out there in the streets, destroying business after business after business all through 2020. And they raised a whole bunch of money. But you mean to tell me, Sunny Hostin, that the Proud Boys are like Hamas? Really? Yeah, she actually really did say that, man. She really did say that. Check this out. The View's Sunny Hostin says Hamas is no different from the Proud Boys. I mean, when was the last time you saw the Proud Boys actually beat up and kill innocent women and children? I'll save you time. You haven't seen it because it has not happened. It has not happened. Sunny Hostin is pushing dangerous propaganda out there. This is a lie. And we all know that it is a lie. She said that on The View, and the so-called conservative in Alyssa Farrah Griffin said nothing. Said nothing. Just continued to let her lie. And she also accused Israel of committing war crimes. This tells you everything you need to know about Sunny Hostin. So let's jump over here. And I want you guys to listen to this clip here. And your so-called conservative here on the right didn't even say one single thing about this, about the lie. And she's sitting right next to Sunny Hostin. Now, I expect nothing, from Anna Navarro, because she's definitely a leftist Republican. But I want you guys to go ahead and listen to this clip here. Let's play it.
Go ahead, Sunny, you want to say something?
No, I look at this from a legal perspective, and I think that we all know that Hamas has been designated a terror organization, just like many other terror organizations have had this designation, like the Proud Boys here in the United States.
Actually, the Proud Boys have not been deemed a terrorist organization. They have not been deemed a terrorist organization. She's lying to you guys. She's lying. You cannot compare Hamas to the Proud Boys. You just can't do it, man.
But I do think that what we need to remember is that there is an international human rights body of law. And when you look at that law, part of it is retaliation against innocent civilians collectively is also terror and is also a war crime. And again, those are not my words. Those are the words of the law.
She's
and the
talking about
president
Israel.
of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said just last year when we were all talking about Ukraine, she said Russia's attacks against civilian infrastructure, especially electricity, are war crimes, cutting off men, women, children of water, electricity, and heating with winter coming. These are acts of pure terror, and we have to call it as such. And so what I'm saying is, yes, I think those that are around the other Arab countries, Israel actually bombed the only exit out of Palestine to Egypt.
Well,
and
that's
what they're trying,
what
they're trying not, and Egypt cut off the second one because I
Willingly.
also
The
think
Israeli
that
government-
Egypt is afraid in many respects and doesn't want to get involved in this conflict. I think many people don't want to get involved in this conflict, but we can't lose our humanity. We must get involved.
But just as a
in this
factual
conflict.
matter, the Israeli government is working with the Biden administration to try to get safe passage.
Yeah, they've been asking.
They have been working.
And the
trying
UN
to have
has
a
really,
diplomatic
I think, done an outstanding job in terms of trying to get the aid that Jordan has sent to Egypt to try to get it into the people. But when you have 2.2 million people stuck in an area, half of which are children, and you're
Don't you think
telling me
Hamas
that-
attacking Israel
Well, but
can I
is
ask
the
a legal
reason that they
question?
have the
But you're
problem
asking-
now?
but
Anthony
you're telling them
Blinken is
to-
down there in the region right now trying to work with a diplomatic solution for these refugees. But I
That's
want to
what's
say,
needed.
and I think this is very important, what Israel is saying consistently is, if you want your water, if you want your electricity, release our hostages. In my view,
That's
that's not an
exactly
irrational question. That's not an irrational demand. Release our people that you are holding there
And
as
final
human
thing,
shields.
and they should, but in the process, they should really refrain from committing war crimes or terror
wanna be-
because they're going to
They're not committing
lose
war crimes.
the goodwill.
I do think
that
it's
they
very
have
important, though.
gained.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, who was the director of CENTCOM, said Hamas is worse than ISIS. There's no equivocating as far as the terror
Look
and
what
the
they did.
brutality.
Look what they
Beheading
did.
children.
Yeah.
This is a group that you cannot reason with. There is not a diplomatic solution with Hamas specifically, but we will stand with helping innocent
And is there any
Palestinians.
legal?
We have to
is
go.
there any legal bearing on Hamas for withholding water from their own people, or is
They
that
don't
okay?
care.
Well,
They don't. I mean,
they're not responsible for
Humanity
withholding the water
values,
now.
principles,
they already
and
done
law
that.
doesn't apply to Hamas.
but
They
we
are a
created
terrorist
the
organization. They don't care
But
about
we also have
Palestinians.
to-
They
They
care about
started this.
annihilating
They
Israel.
started
But
this.
we
That's
also
the
have
part
to
you have to.
understand-
Yeah, so I'm going to stop it right there, guys. So there you have it. Sonny Hostin, man, obviously has no military experience whatsoever. None. She's actually trying to blame the Israelis for committing war crimes. But in that whole segment right there, did she actually say that Hamas was committing war crimes? Now, the other people on the panel said, yeah, Hamas was actually beheading children. And when has the Proud Boys ever done something like that? I mean, the only thing that I've actually heard about the Proud Boys, now forget about the January 6th stuff like Enrique Tarrio getting 22 years in prison. He wasn't even in Washington, D.C. He wasn't even there. Okay? That was all political right there. Now, Enrique Tarrio, like the only thing you've ever heard him do was he tore down a BLM flag. That's the only thing I've ever heard the Proud Boys really do. They tore down a BLM flag. Whereas BLM was out there in the streets, because you saw them, it's all on video, burning stuff, burning down businesses, destroying people's livelihoods, just like Antifa. But Sonny Hostin, oh, Hamas and the Proud Boys, there is no difference. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Sonny Hostin, man, should actually come out on the show and correct everything she said. But I'm pretty sure ABC is not going to hold her accountable for that. They're not. She didn't mention anything about BLM. Nothing about Antifa. She brought up the Proud Boys. Really? That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.